Welcome to the Radiant Woman Unstoppable You interview series. So, in the previous weeks and the coming weeks, I'm featuring women that are out there with these soul led missions to really empower other women to live more radiant, happier, healthier, and more purpose aligned lives. And that's what I'm really all about. I'm about helping multi passionate women to holistically create this radiant physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental health to transform their mindset and experience that clarity and that confidence in their purpose. So in my 11th interview of this series, I'm joined by a very special guest, Rebecca Cicco, an optimal health coach supporting people on their weight loss journey. Rebecca, welcome. How are you today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
Excellent. And Rebecca is based in Sydney, New South Wales. And we're just saying you've had some lovely warm weather up there. So, and we're also seeing a bit of sun here, which is nice. So I guess we are in summer. So it is to be expected. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say, put it out there that we're going to try and do this in 15 to 20 minutes tops, because I have always had that intention, and sometimes it tends to go longer than 30 minutes. So I appreciate, everyone's busy. So as I said, I'm going to try and keep this quite tight. So for those watching, grab a tea, a coffee, notepad and pen, pop your phone on silent, and, minimize any browsers just to allow yourself that time and that space to receive whatever information is coming through today that is there to serve you. And as we know, you might have heard this stuff before, but sometimes it just lands in different ways, and maybe you're open to receiving it today. So, Rebecca, I love what you're doing in the world, and I just wanted to chat with you a little bit further about this. So, what would you feel your current soul-led mission is when it comes to empowering other women? And I know you work with men as well, so that's cool. Yeah, what do you feel is on your heart?
Well, I'm a mum of 3, and as you said, I do deal and coach and help men as well. But what I do find is a lot of the women that I come across are mums themselves, really busy and have almost lost their identity. And so what I tend to do, and I guess how we empower these women, is initially helping them through their health and their weight loss. But it's not just about health and weight loss. That's just a tiny part of it. And so what we find when we're able to help them with that, it then opens up a whole new world where they can really start to, I guess, tap back into who they are as women and, what they want out of life and what their purpose is. And so that's the exciting part. And that's the part that I love, is that, initially we help them to feel great physically, but then it just goes on so much further than that.
Yes, and that's beautiful, and you're right. And I also have a similar mission in that you're right. I love helping women where, they have lost their identity, for whatever reason. It can be that, they've thrown themselves into full-time work for so long that they don't even know who they are anymore. Or as you said, they've been a mother or, whatever it might be, and they've just lost themselves in the process. So you're right. It's great to be able to empower them and share this information to help them get healthier physically. But then it's everything else that comes with it. They discover who they really are. And often you probably find this too, that as we said, it's like people, they're getting healthier, they're getting happier, and then they also then want to share this with everyone else too. So it becomes their mission to then empower other women as well. So it has this flow on cascade effect, which is so beautiful.
It does. And I think too, when it comes with weight loss, and a lot of women do struggle with losing weight, and particularly after having children, and sometimes they feel that it's impossible, or they can't get back to that, that weight that they were pre-children. And I think when we can help them step by step reach that health and weight loss goal, that's when they start to have that belief in themselves, and they think, okay, I've been able to do that.
Yes.
What else have I sort of put on the back burner, or what else have I thought I can't do, that we can now say, okay, you've achieved this huge hurdle of reaching your ultimate weight loss goal. Let's look at what else is out there, what else you want to achieve. And so, that's a little bit like the foundation of opening up a whole new set of capabilities and opportunities for them.
100%. And that's so in alignment with, what I'm all about. It's that really holistic health, because as we know, you can really be doing all these great things on a physical level, but what's under the surface? What's happening emotionally? What's happening mentally? What are your thoughts? What are your belief systems? Like, what's happening there? So, it's great that, as we said, that, you're finding that, I'm finding that, and a lot of women you work with, it's like, who are you becoming in the process, and where are you growing and expanding and growing with that? So now I just want to ask you, so how did you come across this? this? Like, why is this important to you?
So I myself needed to go on a bit of a health and weight loss journey probably about 5 years ago. And so that was after having our children. And, you know, I had tried so many programs and different, you know, diets per se in the past, and nothing had worked. And so I came across this program, which I did that with my husband. And after reaching our goal within, I think it was about 6 months, we reached our health goal. And we went through the same process that I'm taking people through now. So getting them to reach that healthy weight loss goal, but then showing them, okay, what all the other opportunities are, or you know, really digging deep with them and finding out what it is they want in their life. And so that's what I did. And exactly what you said, when you're helping someone else to do that, when they start to feel that, they just want to share it. And so that's exactly what we did. We went through that program ourselves, and then we wanted to share it, and then obviously took the step further and decided that I wanted to become a optimal health coach.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And it's great that, you know, because I mean, I know, yeah, you and your husband, absolutely, you're a product of the product, you're congruent with what you say and what you do. And I think that's a huge piece of it too, because a lot of people out there, you know, they're talking about different things, they're selling different things, but they're not getting behind it because they're not really embodying it. And I mean, you know, you guys absolutely embody it day in, day out. You know, you're living and breathing it. It's not like you're just sharing this information. You are embodying it, you're doing it. And that's what I think is really important too. And I'm sure you'll agree that gives you that confidence to then be out there sharing it with others. You know, you believe in it.
Yeah,
so,
and
you know, that's really important.
Yeah, and it's so, when you think about health, it's such a deep thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes we really take for granted our bodies, and we think, oh yeah, we're always going to be healthy, or we're always going to be able to move, or you know, we're always going to be able to, you know, do what we've always done. But we really need to, you know, treat our health as a gift and really look after ourselves. And so I think going through the program initially, that's sort of, I guess, what we became aware of is that, you know, we were probably not being really nice to our bodies in the past. And, you know, we really had to look after ourselves, not only for ourselves, but for our family and our children. And, you know, having 3 girls, I definitely want to be a good role model for them. Firstly, with my health and, you know, eating well, eating healthily, you know, moving, because I definitely don't want my girls to grow up having, I guess, issues with their weight, you know, as they get older. So, you know, when we first came across the program and started looking after ourselves, I had 3 girls under 10 at that stage. And so really they've started implementing healthy eating from a young age. So hopefully, you know, what we're doing, they're following that, and it's just going to be a habit for them, for their life as well.
That's the thing. And it's great that, as you said, you know, you're conscious of that you are modeling that for them, you know, because there is a lot of parents out there, you know, unfortunately, they don't have the education, or they don't have the motivation or the inclination to want to, you know, put these things into practice. So it's so great that, you know, you're living and breathing it, and the girls are seeing that. And I mean, you sort of touched on it too. It's like, as you guys were on the journey, you realize, yeah, it's not just the physical part, in the sense that, you know, it is the self-talk and things like that too. So, you know, and when you've got the young girls, and I mean, I spoke about this with another guest, that, you know, you start to realize, well, you know, I don't want them to have that relationship with themselves, you know, so I really want to cultivate a better relationship with me, prioritize my health and well-being. And then they see that, yeah, that's okay. That's great to be able to do that. You know, as we said, it's self-care is paramount.
Yeah. And it's often said, you know, your children won't always listen to you, but they'll do what you do. And so often, you know, just living the way we do, and, you know, they observe relationships and the way I speak to people, and that's just mirrored in, you know, their friendships and, you know, the conversations that I have with them. And, you know, I'm so proud of, you know, the young women that they're becoming. And I know that's all because of the work I've been doing myself the last few years is a result of how they're all turning out now.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. So I know you've worked with so many people, as we said, women and men. So can you tell me a little bit of maybe a few of those success stories that really stand out to you, like, you know, for whatever reason? Yeah.
So, you know, I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people to lose weight, and, you know, some people have lost 5 kilos. I've had other people that have lost 50 kilos. And so, you know, it's a huge range. But for me, there are a few standouts, and the people that stand out to me are the ones that embrace the whole journey, not just I need to lose, you know, 20 kilos or whatever. The people that actually go through that whole mental shift as well, and mindset. And, it's all about the way we think. And, the way we think and our self-talk determines everything. It determines our success with weight loss, our success with our careers, our success with our relationships. And so I find that, if someone's lost 5 kilos, but they've actually gone on that whole, holistic journey, and they've changed their outlook, and you can see it coming from their inside.
True.
That makes me so much more, I guess, prouder and happier than seeing someone who's just lost 50 kilos but hasn't embraced anything else. And I guess for that long-term health result, it's all dependent on mindset, because that's why we're overweight, or we were overweight. It's because, it's what goes on in here. And so I guess that's why we really need to tap into the mindset on a weight loss journey, because we don't want people putting the weight back on again. We want the weight to stay off.
And that's what happens so often, as we know people will, there's 40,000 different diets or something out there. And that's what a lot of people do. They'll try something, lose weight, and then they'll put the weight back on, because, as you said, they haven't actually addressed what's going on to the surface. So they still have these toxic, thoughts and these limiting beliefs and all these patterns that are there that contributed to it in the first place. So they haven't addressed that. And that's what is great about your program, that you're addressing all of those pieces of the puzzle. So as you said, longer term, the chances of actually, yes, losing the weight and keeping it off, or knowing what you need to do on different levels to really achieve that. No, it's so important. It's just such a gift that you're on this journey, and that you came across this program, and that you're living and breathing it and helping so many other people in the process. And also, just something I want to just touch on is supplementation, and I like that, you guys, it is for, food first, and of course mindset and movement and everything else, and then bringing in supplementation where it is relevant, because as we know, our soil quality is not the same, and a lot of us do have potentially, micronutrient deficiencies because of whatever reason it might be, heavy periods, or just genetic conditions where there is lower zinc and B6 and things like that. So tell me a little bit about how your thoughts on supplementation, and how you feel maybe that's also helped you guys.
Look, I definitely, we've got some first-hand experience, particularly with taking supplementation, and I do know, coupled with a healthy diet, I do know that, when we have people losing a lot of weight, and, if you imagine someone losing 50 kilos, that's a lot of weight, and there's a lot of change that's going through your body. But we do know that, when you do supplement, and, taking things like omega-3 definitely can help with the skin. But what we do find as well, when we always take before and after photos. And so I love seeing the before and after photos, because you can really tell, obviously, not only the weight loss, but the difference in the way the person looks, their skin, they're glowing. And so there's a lot that's going on the inside as well. But, we've had people that have had, fatty liver, that they've been able to, completely reverse that. My husband, he had a major health issue before we came on the program. And one of the issues he had is that his skin wouldn't heal. So when he actually had surgery, his skin wouldn't heal, and it was horrific. The recovery time was like about 3 months. Absolutely horrific. But after being on the program for I think a couple of years, he had to have another surgery. We've taken the supplementation the whole time, and his skin, the cut that he had healed within 24 hours. And so for us, that was a dramatic difference prior to the program, when we weren't taking any supplementation at all. And most recently, my daughter this year, she was suffering from migraines, and we were actually advised by our doctor to take magnesium to help with the migraines. And so we got her straight onto the magnesium, and also B2, and she hasn't suffered from a migraine since because of that. So, we've had so many personal experience, whether it's really, been a benefit, but we're hearing it time and time again from people that we're coaching, when they're having their blood tests. We always recommend they get a blood test before they start the program. So then they've got something to compare it against. And, the results are absolutely astounding. Even those people that are a little bit skeptical and, don't believe in supplementation, they always try it out, which is great. But I find most times they're actually very surprised at the changes and how they feel, and they continue them as well.
And you're right. And yes, it's how you feel and how you look, but it's those biomarkers too, as you said, when they get the blood. So it's great. And I mean, I'm the same. I like to be able to see where people are as the baseline and then work with that. And, we can track how they're improving. And you're right. You see people, because I used to see people also, as you know, that were doing the program, and you'd see people that, like as you said, the fatty liver was being reversed and inflammation was going down. And because people, as we know, a lot of society is eating a lot of very heavily processed foods, high carb, and they're not, good carbs necessarily. So once people are eating good nutrition and then you're bringing in some of these supplements to supplement, it is amazing, how, their body's just getting nutrition that it needs.
And it's almost like for years, our bodies haven't been working properly.
No.
And then it's like all of a sudden, it's almost like they're this well-oiled jig, and they're just starting, with the eating right, the supplementing, the movement. It's all just starting to work how it's supposed to work.
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, sometimes people just put up with symptoms for so long because that becomes like the norm. Like they're just so used to having a bowel motion every 4 days or whatever. And you're like, no, it can actually get better than that. That's not the way it's supposed to be. And sometimes it might even just be drinking more water. And, but I mean, what a progressive doctor that you had, because not all doctors, unfortunately, will say, try this mineral or try this B2, unfortunately, usually they might say, go for this medication. So that was great. But no, I'm the same. I love supplementation. And I always stress that to people. It is supplementing, and things like you, as you said, with omega-3, I mean, something like 96, 97% of the population is deficient in omega-3. So, most people aren't having sardines every day. They're not having enough of the oily fish. And particularly even if you see, vegetarians, and some vegetarians will have the fish oil supplementation, not all, of course, I understand. But, a lot of vegetarians and vegans in particular, they're having things like, I don't know, chia seeds and flax seeds and things like that. But for the body to convert it into the EPA and DHA, like the active omega-3 compounds that it needs, it's not an efficient process. So, that's where the supplementation is great. So, excellent. So I also just wanted to ask you while you're here. So is there a little go-to, process, tool, technique? It could be anything that you just find really helps support you on your journey to stay motivated, to keep going, to have that confidence?
Yep. So for me, it is definitely having that positive mindset that we spoke about, because we can easily talk ourselves out of things. We've got that voice that talks to us all day long. So it's, not listening to that negative voice that we have in our head, but, associating with positive people or people are headed in the same journey or the same direction as you. And so that's what we find with this program. We've got a community that's got over 10,000 people who are all focused on their health, all focused on that positive mindset and moving forward. And I think, it's great to have family and friends, but, sometimes they can be a bad influence, particularly this time of year when you're out at parties and socializing and, they're trying to get you to eat things or do things that, aren't so healthy. To be able to ground yourself and bring yourself back to that community that can support you, 24/7 and just, bring you back in line with your health goals. That's definitely, I think, what I know I value the most. And I know a lot of our clients really value the support that they get with this program.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, how do people do it alone? It's impossible. It really makes it that much harder when you know that there can be that support network around you, and whether it is a coach or a mentor or just people that are also on the journey and they understand it intimately. They're also going through some of those struggles and challenges, but they're on the journey. And that's what I love too. It's like that like-minded people, that kind of really also nourishes your soul. And it does help with motivation. It keeps you on track, because let's face it, we're all human. We're going to have days where just like, oh, I'm tired, I don't feel like it. But when you've got people around you that can sort of pick you up, and likewise, there's times when you can also lend that helping hand. It's just, that's a great sort of,
we need someone to be accountable to, because put it this way, there's sometimes we don't trust ourselves, so we need to be accountable to someone.
Exactly, definitely. So no, thank you so much for today. So is there anything else on your heart that you'd like to share?
I just think I mentioned earlier, it's about believing in, helping women to believe in themselves, but I think also helping them to understand that, they don't need to be complacent. They don't need to, I guess, look at their life. And, I'm not saying everyone is like this, but, we often get in a bit of a rut sometimes.
True.
And we think, well, this is it. This is all there is. And I think, just helping people one step at a time to realize their potential and know that they don't just need to stop at where they're at, that they can have absolutely anything they want to in life, and whether that is their health goal, whether they've got family or relationship goals. You know, people can have anything they want. They just need to take that first step to working towards that.
Yes, no, definitely 100%. And as you said, you know, a lot of people are stuck in a rut. So it's great to, you know, it's true, you know, wherever you're at, whatever age, whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, you can change, you can just take that one step at a time, and that changes your whole life trajectory. So yeah, no, great. Thank you so much anyway. It was lovely to catch up and connect today. So also, I'll have your little details there in the description so people can contact you or follow you on Facebook and find out more about this amazing program. Because as we said, you know, I mean, what, 68% of Australians or something are overweight or obese, and is it?
I think it's more than that, actually.
Yeah, gosh, and 70+% are quite sedentary or have very low levels of activity. So, you know, the world needs our help. And as we said, you know, what you guys are doing, it's not just on the physical level, it's addressing all levels, which is so important for lasting health and longevity in all areas. So great mission, and keep up the amazing work. And I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thank you so much, Belinda.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.